As always, flowing from the survival scrolls, I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades, and this is Bridging Fears. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, what would your ideal life look like? Let's go. So family, what would your ideal life look like? You miss your calling. You miss that great Fifth Avenue, Park Avenue, looking over Times Square. I know I'm going to different places. Times Square visualization of your corner office with your nameplate at parking area. You now work for UPS, DHL. Did they go out of business? I don't know. Maybe they did. FedEx. That's who you work for now. No disrespect for anybody who works there. But now there's a reset. There's the opportunity to be able to go in a different direction. I remember I knew a cop years ago. I remember saying to her, I said, why a cop? Why'd you go in that direction? And she was like, I was going to be a lawyer. But the truth of the matter was that the fees were high, the school loans and this and that, it was high. So I became a cop. She found something still in the legal field and went in a different direction, and where she'll have to probably deal with lawyers anyway, from time to time, depending on her cases. So she found it. What about you, family? You're a writer. Years have gone by, time has gone by, moments have gone by. What do? You sit on the sidelines? You write quietly in your room? You don't let anybody know and see and hear your work, your body of work? You let that go to the wayside? You don't feel you're good enough? You don't feel you're that great? I remember one time, I was in the music industry. And I'm sure there's those that know me are saying, what about you? What about you with your music? I went in a different direction. Not to say that I'm going to give up music, because I think there's a track or two that you hear me singing or something like that. Music is in my blood, in my soul. Always playing music, always. Always looking for songs with a beat or with a hook or something. And mind you, I'm very eclectic. All sorts of music. I'm in love with a very Greek, famous, poetic song that I listen to from time to time. Nosfiata, something like that. Love that song. Don't know what the hell he's talking about. I had it translated. It's a poem, Love that song. Get into that song heavy. May know a word or two. Anyway, it's just my stuff, sharing with you guys. And so for now, I went in a different direction. I'm able to broadcast to you to talk with you guys. We're in a period. It's not that we're in a period now, but it's more of a thing to have a YouTube channel, an Instagram channel, a podcast. There are these two women. They do crime podcasts. They make like $15 million a year. I'm like, wow, they get paid handsomely. There's Dax Shepard. He's married to she's a blonde actress, cutie. And he has a podcast called the Armchair Podcast, and where he talks to celebrities in a room, and I think he gets paid like $9-10 million or something like that. I'm like, wow, this is handsomely. He's doing something that he really likes and just having a conversation and getting paid quite well for it. I was like, wow, that's cool, Mike Tyson's in the boxing arena. Paul Logan got his own podcast. Besides his YouTube notoriety and fame and boxing, it's not unacceptable. So sometimes you have a calling, you have a somebody got a ticket. You have a calling, you have a a destiny that probably went a different way. Not to say that it was derailed. In some instances it was. But you found it in a different light, in a different way, in a different manner. What about you, family? What would be your ideal setting? Goal, life, destiny, vision. What could you see yourself doing? What would be your life's purpose? Like I told you about that cop that that cop that was initially going to study law school. Still in the legal arena, So, what would be your thing? You have individuals. Let's go a different direction. There's a gentleman that I am part of his organization. He's a funny dude. He's a funny dude, and he's into contractual agreements. Let's put it that way. And he was asked many times over, how did you get into this field? And he does quite well with that in that field, quite well, I might add. And he loves it. He's a very gregarious, always laughing, always, he's a real dude, he's a real guy. And he said, I was that guy that was working at the gas station. I was pumping the gas. That's what I was doing. I was pumping the gas. And they're like, really? He said, yeah, I got a PhD, a public high school diploma. I was like, okay. And he said his man had said to him, listen, I'm going to get into this, this type of business. And I said, yeah, what is it? And he told him about it. Put the little worm in his head, as my mother would say, put the worm in the head. And his friend got put into the federal penitentiary the following day. He said, so, here I am figuring this thing out on my own. I'm trying to figure this out. It's not easy. He said, so I did my own research. His first contract didn't come until 3 years later for like $100 and something. He said, but that was one of the best $100 and something. Now he commands in excess of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000, $100,000 deals. But he didn't know. He didn't have anyone to guide him. So he cherry picked here, cherry picked there, learned from this, picked from that, made a mistake here, made a mistake there. But, he said, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yes, he had done wholesaling, real estate. He said, I was doing well with it. He said, but it wasn't my thing, It wasn't my thing. I was crushing it, as he claims, but it wasn't my thing. And he found his calling. And now he teaches people about it. And he does well for himself. And he's happy. Sometimes I'll get on the Zooms. Well, most times I get on the Zooms. And he's just happy. He's happy. And when his students do well, he's like, come on, man. Let's big it up. Let's big you up. I'm more happy for you than you are. Y'all like, yeah, I just got this contract. You know what I'm saying? He's like, come on now. That's what we're here for. We're here to, get that bag, secure that bag, but also have a business, have something tangible that you can say, this is mine. This is what I'm working for. This is the name of my organization. And mind you, his network of students is vast. Black, white, young, old, men, women. So what's your calling, family? What's your destiny? What can you reset, regroup, and re-challenge yourself to do? What can you re-challenge yourself to do? To say, I'm going to go in this direction. I'm going to do well. I'm going to do handsomely well. And mind you, yes, I bring up I put a dollar amount to it, but it goes beyond that. It's not about the dollar amount. It's about with inflation and whatnot, I hope you're getting paid for it. I hope you're getting paid quite well for it, whatever it is that one does. But it should be the calling of success, that you've achieved something that either escaped you or it just wasn't the right timing. That now you're like, now I'm going to go do this. This is my time. And you're a gentleman, and you other gentlemen, it's a lie. He's a lawyer. And I've mentioned this in a previous post. He was a lawyer. Hated it. Hated it. Now, this is crazy dumb years ago, making like 60 grand a month, a year. And he went to, I don't know what country, studied music, and he became a music teacher, commanding $17,000 a year. But happy. Oh my God. So brutally happy this man was. He was brutally happy in his... Can I go this way? I guess I can. In his calling. In his calling. John Walsh. From my kind of a sort of a old heads. There was a show that used to come on, and they kind of did a derivative of it in a different way, a different context, but it was called America's Most Wanted. And he was the host for a number of years. Wasn't his calling initially, but his son, Adam Walsh, was captured, I believe molested, raped, and beheaded. 6 years old. 6 years old. I don't know if they actually caught the individual. I believe they did. After some years, they concluded that it was this particular person. And they said to him, listen, would you like to be the host of this show? And he, because of a situation that tore his family apart, he said, I'm going to help others. And that was his calling. I knew a woman, Carmen, that's her name, and I believe she still works at an old hospital that I used to be at. And her daughter, at the age of 16, had one lover, this is years ago, and caught AIDS. She died 10 years later. This is prior to the development of the better types of medicine combating AIDS presently, in where life can be a longer longevity lifespan, as well as the undetectable. I'm going to create a word: undetectableness of the AIDS cell, because from what I hear, the medicine is so good that it is there are many times over when they go and they check, and the T cells are like, or the AIDS cells, I should say, are almost practically undetectable. It's how advanced medicine has come. Still fighting, still combating this horrible, dreaded disease. And her daughter died 10 years later. And I remember that. I remember that day. She died in her arms in the emergency room. And Carmen volunteered for a number of years to help patients in the emergency room. Not with AIDS, with anything, she volunteered. Eventually they gave her a job. And that woman worked. Brings chills to me. She worked. And she has given her soul and her life to helping. Because the emergency room where her daughter died, they did everything to bring comfort and peace and help to her and her family and her daughter in her last dying days. So anyway, family, today's topic: what would your ideal life look like? How can you composite it? How can you make it like this is it? If you missed your calling. If you didn't, then you're doing what you're supposed to do. God bless you. For real. God bless you. If not, and you're resetting, regrouping, what would it look like? How would you put it together? Anyway, that's all I have for you today, family. Let us give thanks and praise that we are 6 feet above ground and not below, and that those in our inner circle are in the same vein. Whatever you do today, family, walk tall, walk proud. If silence is your endeavor, do it proudly and loudly. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This channel really needs the help of growth, of the algorithms seeing it, reaching it, and saying, oh, okay, this is Bridging Fears. Let's expand it out. It really will help, family. Share it with other people. And thank you for riding with me. I am your gracious host, Mr. Bobby Shades, and this is Bridging Fears. With that said, family, I just want to leave you with my creed, my motto, my thought, my belief. Whatever you do today, family, walk lovely, walk sexy, but most of all, family, walk and stay safe. I will see you guys in the next clip.